Hello, this is John Paval with Access Arts Live. I'm here to do the weekly update on organ recitals that we have for you this week. And a lot of organ recitals by people like Charles Andrews and Anthony Gritten, who are both from the Royal College of Music. And Charles is going to be live streaming in just a little more than an hour from now. And then by Pieter van Dijk, Pieter van Dijk, it could be, from the Netherlands at the Bergamo Festival on Friday, and Canon Martin Green at St. Paul's Cathedral on Friday. So let's get right to it so I can fill you in on it, especially because I want you to have time maybe to get this and check out the first of these. The first live stream we have for you this week is Charles Andrews, who will be playing at the Temple Church London. Now, this is a lunchtime concert, but don't let that fool you. It's starting at 2:15 European time, which is 8:15 on the East Coast, 5:15 on the West Coast, and a lovely 10:15 p.m. Down under in Australia. And I do have photos of these guys. Can I get you the photos here on this? Yeah, I can get you the photo of the four organists, the four horsemen of this week's apocalypse. That's Charles Andrews there in the upper left-hand corner. And he is the liturgical organist of the Temple Church. He's a professor of organ and organ coordinator at the Royal College of Music. He was formerly the assistant music director at All Saints on the West End of London. He's been at the Temple Church since 2019. He will be playing Heinrich, let me be sure I've got this right. He'll be playing Heinrich Schneidemann's Preambulum in C. That's a 17th century organist and composer. Then a Bach concerto in C, Bach's Die sind die Heiligen 10 Gebot. Then Charles Villiers Stanford's two preludes on old Irish church melodies. Selections from William Lloyd Webber's five portraits, three different women, Carol, Elizabeth, and Justine, if you know that piece. And then a dedication march by William Lloyd Webber. The organ in the Temple Church was installed in 1954 by the organ builder Harrison and Harrison Limited. It's a 4-manual organ. It's modeled on drawings of the Temple's Father Smith organ of 1688. And I think we're giving you the link. Yes, we're giving you the link to the organ page of the Temple Church and the organ specifications of this specific organ for all those organ lovers that we have. And we will be reposting this live stream to about a dozen organ lover pages on Facebook, so you can follow up, and maybe some of you are up, especially in the U.S., up early this morning can hear this concert. It's on YouTube and it's free of charge. In fact, all of this week's recitals are on YouTube free of charge. If you go in the comment section, or if you go to the recital and the comment section is open, go in there and say hello to Access Arts Live if we're there, so we know we brought you there. And even if we didn't, go in there and say that we brought you there so they know we're helping them out. Now, that's today. Tomorrow is the weekly Truro Cathedral weekly recital. That's at 2:10 in the afternoon in Europe, 8:10 in the morning on the East Coast, 5:10 on the West Coast, and 10:10 p.m. in Australia. It's Anthony Gritten playing tomorrow. He's a fellow of the Royal College of Organists. He's currently head of the undergraduate programs at the Royal Academy of Music. He's written as an academic. He's written all kinds of publications, and he actually puts the link to his publications in his bio. So we're going to give you that as well as a link to his bio. He likes to premiere new works. He's premiered Richard Francis's 4-movement symphony, Lawrence Caldecott's variations on Victimae Pascali Laudes. You know that. That's the Easter lauds. It's victime Pascali laudes, immolant Christiani, ad nos redemitur ves, Christus innocens Patris, reconcilia vit peccatores. I know you're not supposed to sing Gregorian chant so expressively, but I'm a lyric tenor and I like to ham it up. Okay, anyway, and he also has done performances. He likes to do complete works. So he's done performances of the complete works of Tunder, of Buxtehude, which took 6.5 hours, of Brahms, Mendelssohn, and he has an ongoing series that he's working on trying to resurrect French music from the early 20th century. So is that what he's going to be playing today? Well, it looks very French. He's playing Duruflé's Fugue sur le thème de Carillon des Heures de la Cathédrale de Soissons, composed in 1962 by Maurice Duruflé. That means a fugue on the theme of the carillon of the clock of the Soissons Cathedral. Then he'll be playing Daniel Roth's Joie, Douleur et Gloire de Marie, composed in 1990. And that means the joys, the sorrows, and the glory of Maria, the mother of Jesus. Then Jean-Jacques Grunenwald's Fugue sur les Jeux d'Ange. That's 1954, a fugue on the fountains of Ange. Yeah, this is a very French recital. And then the Sonata Number 5 in A major, Quasi una Fantasia, Opus 159 by Charles Villiers-Stanford, the earliest of the works today, composed in 1921. So that should be good. That's tomorrow. Then we move on to Friday, and we have 2 live streams for you on Friday. The first is the third of the ongoing Bergamo International Organ Improvisation Festival. And we mentioned them to you already. It's Pieter van Dijk or Dijk. It's from Holland. It's D-I-J-K. Playing on the organ at the Beata Vergine del Giglio Church. This is a 17th century organ, which was restored in 2003 by Giovanni Pradella. But from what I can see of it, we will give you a link to the program in which you can see in more detail the specifications of the organ. From what I can see of it, the organ is not impressive for being a magnificent organ. It's impressive for being a carefully restored 17th century organ, which is a bit more modest. And Van Dijk's program looks all Dutch, 17th century. Heinrich Schneiderman's Preambulum in D, and then also some other works by Schneiderman, a Galliard, a Canzone, and a Benedicam Dominum after a motet by Hieronymus Praetorius. He'll also then be playing Jan Pieterszoon Zweeling, another 16th to 17th century composer, a Fantasia Chromatica, and 6 variations on the theme of Mein junges Leben hat ein End. That seems my young life is at its end, I think. Then a piece called Daphne from an anonymous manuscript of the 17th century, a Fantasia by Antonie van Noort, 17th century, and Matthias Weckman, 17th century. Van Dijk is the city organist and the organist of the Grote Sint Laurenskerk in Alkmaar, Netherlands, which we are told is the home of the world's 2 of the world's most significant organs. And I don't have time to go into that for you, but you can look it up. He's also the professor and head of organ studies, both at the Amsterdam Music Conservatory and a professor at the Hochschule für Musik und Theater in Hamburg, of all places, and the co-artistic director of the Holland Organ Festival. He's got a lot of recordings out there, including he started doing a series for DMP Records in 2017 to record the complete Bach cycle on 21 CDs, and I don't know how far he's gotten. So that's at 9 o'clock European time. Let me scroll up to make sure I get the other coordinated American times up. I have to go over my notes, which is 3 o'clock on the East Coast, noon on the West Coast, and 5 o'clock in the morning in Australia. And 1 hour later, which will be before this concert is done. Canon Martin Green takes to the keyboards on the Aeolian Skinner organ at St. Paul's Cathedral in San Diego, which will be at 10 o'clock p.m. European time. That is 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's a lunchtime concert on the West Coast, 4 o'clock on the East Coast, and 6 in the morning in Australia. This is a 30-minute, somewhat informal recital, but last week, and they don't give out the program in advance usually, but last week they did pieces by early American composers, a couple 17th and 18th century American composers, including a piece by James Bremner, who was a Scottish organist who went to America for 7 years in the 1760s. And while he was there, composed some of the first pieces of music ever composed in America that we have, and the very earliest pieces for organ. They didn't have a lot of organs until the mid 18th century in America, the 1700s, mid 1700s, because, the Puritan types, they didn't like things like organ music. That was too much like entertainment. Anyway, so you have to decide. So I don't know what he's playing, but he sometimes puts together lovely instrumental things, and all 4 of these are free of charge. All of them are on YouTube. You can always jump over and check on the Martin Green, see if he's doing anything interesting at the time, because last week I was shuttling up and back. Well, I was shuttling up and back between Bergamo and Canon Martin Green, because his program of early American music was so interesting to me. That's what we have for you this week for live streams of organ recitals. Once again, we encourage you to subscribe to us to make sure you always are notified and know about these. You can subscribe to us. We prefer on YouTube because we're trying to build up our YouTube subscriptions. If you don't like that, we are also on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on X, and you can subscribe to us there. So that's what we have for this week. Let me, there's the photo of our organist, Charles Andrews, today, in a little over an hour now. That is to say at 2:10 p.m. European time, 8:10 in the morning on the East Coast, and 5:10 on the West Coast. Then Anthony Gritten tomorrow at a similar time. Then Pieter van Dijk, 9 in the evening on Friday, and which is 3 on the East Coast and noon on the West Coast. And then Martin Green at 1 o'clock on the West Coast, which is 4 o'clock on the East Coast, and 10 o'clock in Europe. Thanks for tuning in. Say hi to me, Access Arts Live, if you tune into any of these live streams, and have a lovely, lovely week of wonderful organ music played by masterful organists on some